particularly. Obviously, Reuben Bain Jr. on that defensive line, he said it's going to take our best game to win it up front.
Okay, meanwhile in the SEC, and right now on ESPN.com, Vanderbilt, Heather, is one of your teams to watch, and they're taking on Alabama today in Tuscaloosa. It's why game day is in Tuscaloosa. How could these Commodores factor into the larger picture?
Well, look, just because the name Vanderbilt is on the jersey does not mean you can't compete for a national title. Any team with a chance to win its conference has a chance at the college football playoff, and right this second, Vandy is in it. Now, this is a string of 4 straight games against ranked opponents, but it's a chance for Vanderbilt to legitimize itself in this conversation and go from the role of spoiler to the role of contender. It's also a chance for quarterback Diego Pavia to get into this Heisman conversation more seriously.
You're going to hear this stat throughout the morning on SportsCenter. Vanderbilt have participated in one game day game in its storied program history, and they won it. So they're undefeated when game day is involved. That game at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. That's Heather Dinich. Thank you. Is it velour? Is it velvet? I don't know. I just know it's probably expensive. Roman Harper chilling with us this morning on SportsCenter from the set of SEC Nation. Let's talk, though, first, Rome, about Bama Vandy. Why are you more nervous for Vanderbilt against these Crimson Tide than you were for Georgia against the Crimson Tide?
Gary, be honest with you, man. Good morning, first and foremost. And yes, I'm more nervous versus Vanderbilt than I was last week versus Georgia because of the matchup. Look, Vanderbilt, what they do offensively puts so much pressure on defense to be, number one, disciplined. And so you have to be in your gaps. You have to. And we saw what Georgia did versus Alabama last week. And we also saw what Vandy did versus Alabama last year. And Vandy's better than they were last year with better players. The quarterback, Diego Pavia, you're watching him. He's a magician with the football. And so if you're not in your gaps, you're not gap sound. And the reason this Vanderbilt offense will expose you. Alabama, according to their coaching staff, missed more tackles against Vanderbilt than any other team last year. And the reason is because they were not prepared to make the tackle. And that's because you're out of gaps and you're not disciplined where you're supposed to be. So Vandy's offense makes me nervous. And I'm really just – I like Alabama. I love my team. But I'm telling you, this game right here really scares me, and it's a closer game than what anybody's talking about.
And all of those numbers you can measure, but the thing you can't measure is the confidence that Diego Pavia must have going into this game, knowing last year he took care of business against that Alabama team. All right, it is that time, Rome. What has got you harping this morning? The floor is yours.
Well, look, every week I try and come up with something new, and then, whenever I get here, the environment just tells me what to speak on. And it's right here about the Florida Gators and this coach, Billy Napier. Look, you can hear a lot of people out here booing right now, but that is not the general consensus about Billy Napier. They want this coach to be here. Nobody wants Billy to actually lose his job. Everybody here is actually rooting for this team. They like the players. They love where this team is at. But you have to win games ultimately, and they understand that Billy Napier has to win more games or he will lose that job that they ultimately do not want him to lose. It's been really interesting dynamic listening to the fans here. A lot of them, like the young people, they're like just the next guy on. But the guys that up top that really love this community and this school, they want Billy to be here, and they understand that, hey, when everybody that is here, these are the young guys, I'm not listening to them. All the people that actually make the decisions here want Billy to make it happen. But the thing is that if you do not win the games, you are left up to the guillotine.
The thing about that is it is certainly a what have you done for me lately business. Billy Napier can take care of business against the Horns. Maybe the tide settles a little bit for at least a week.
Two of them. Danny Werfel and the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, and the other one, Tim Tebow, is probably lifting weights somewhere, I would imagine. So great to see both of you guys. Thank you for spending time with us as the Horns come to Gainesville on Saturday to see if they can get that road win here in the Swamp. All right, Danny, I want to start with you. 2 quarterbacks that were way up in the preseason Heisman expectation rankings with DJ Lagway at Florida and Arch Manning, of course, at Texas. What do you see from this QB matchup tomorrow?
Well, I think both of these guys had unreal expectations, and you put in the NIL and the money, and it's like, these are going to be the best players that have ever played. Well, you know, they're young and they haven't got a lot of reps, and, you know, in DJ's case, he didn't even really get to practice with some things. So I think both of them are looking for that breakout moment, and this could be it. This is a huge matchup in the Swamp. I think both the teams might lean a little bit more on the run. If I were them advising them, that's what I would say to do, kind of give them some confidence. But one of these guys is probably going to emerge from this with a big player or two that really sets their team up for the win.
Coach, you talk about the hype train. Arch Manning had the hype train big time coming into this season, and it's been a learning process for him. What do you see from him right now?
Yeah, he probably did get way too much hype because he really hadn't played that much yet. So, I mean, he should be fine in time and so forth. But who would ever thought maybe the best quarterback in the country is a kid from Fair State that showed up at Ole Miss.
Trinidad Chambliss. He's playing out of his mind.
So you never know with the transfer portal and all this stuff now. A team can really get good real quickly. FSU was, what, 2-10 last year? They're a really good team this year. So it's a different day in college football.
What's hampering DJ Lagway right now, Danny?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors that could go into that. I mean, I was very concerned when he didn't get to play in spring practice. And then he was hurt through the summer and then even in fall practice. And a lot of people were saying that's not a big deal. But the reason I could throw Chris Doering those corner routes right on time was because we did 3,000 of them, you know, from March to September. So he doesn't get those reps. The timing's off, you know, and it's not like he's Tom Brady in his 12th season either. He's a young kid. And so I think, you know, those things make it really hard. And then you have enormous pressure and all sorts of stuff coming into play. And, you know, it's a complicated offense. So I think there's a lot of processing that has to go on to play in this system. And you kind of put all those things together, and it just hasn't gone his way. But he's a remarkable competitor. He's a remarkable young man with a great foundation. And I still believe, whether it's tomorrow or whether it's next week or whenever it is, you're going to be hearing about this kid for a long time.
Gators are 1-3, Coach. What advice would you give Billy Napier?
Oh, hang in there. Hang in there is about what we're all saying right now. I think the local papers and the national media have sort of hit it that our Gator offense has been like a D, and our defense is like a B. So one's got to get a little bit better, and the other one stay there or get better also. But, yeah, we got to play better, coach better, and our schedule's been tough. We all know that. It was #1 toughest schedule in the country going in. If we'd had Texas's schedule, not to say anything bad, but we'd be 3-1 also. But we're 1-3 because we've played some really good teams. So I think we got a good chance tomorrow. I really do, if we play up to our potential.
I do too. I agree with that. And thank you guys so much. Grateful for both of you. It's so cool to be with you today. And guys, Coach was talking about that schedule. It doesn't get any easier for the Gators as the season goes along.
Yeah, you're right about that. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it. Hey, we've got ourselves a must ACC matchup between Miami, Florida State. Goes down tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Miami's looking to keep that perfect record alive. Meanwhile, Florida State had been nearly perfect themselves. They manhandled Alabama, dominated their next two opponents before last Friday's overtime loss to Virginia. And after Saturday, neither the Seminoles nor the Canes have a ranked opponent left on their schedule. And joining us from Tallahassee is our ACC Network analyst, Jimbo Fisher. And Coach, your former team, Florida State, perfect opportunity to bounce back, as this is probably their last chance at another high visibility win. How do you think the Seminoles can hand the Canes their first loss?
Well, I think right now, this game comes at a good time because you got to push the other one back, and there's nothing like getting your attention like a rivalry. It makes you jump right up at it and get ready to play. And they're going to have to control the defensive line, and their defensive line is going to have to stop the run. Miami's going to run that football, and they're going to bring it downhill. And then what you're going to have to do is keep from avoiding the big pass plays on top of that. And then on offense, get off to a fast start. because I think Miami wants to control the tempo of the game with their running game, play action passes, and their defense is very good. But if Florida State can hit some big plays early and play that game even to ahead and make Miami uncomfortable and have to take some chances, it's going to give them a lot better chance to get some turnovers. And it's always going to take a turnover or two. And you know this, you can't have great victories without a little adversity. And they had some adversity last week, and they can't let that one loss become two. Put it behind you, forget about it, and get ready for these Canes.
We'll see what happens. I think we got 7 total conference games on our network. So, Coach, we wanted to reel out a new segment for you. We call it Fly Fishing. So give me 2 matchups flying under the radar that you're hooked on to watch.
I think Louisville and Virginia. I think Virginia coming off that big upset win over Florida State. They got a